Now, this is going to be one of my most controversial video in the history of all the videos I've made. And that is why I'm begging you to give me time to listen to me to the end. And what is it I want to talk about this evening? That is why I'm sitting on the floor. What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about the upcoming election, the presidential candidates, the aspirants, and what they stand for. So let's start gradually. Please give me your time and listen to me so that you understand me. In the spirit of fairness, truth. Seriously, I don't know how to hide my feelings, my truth to everybody so that you will know me and actually understand what I stand for. So in regards to the upcoming election and the aspirants, so far this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Tinubu, Peter Obi, Atiku, and Showore. And I hope that, sincerely speaking, listen to me very well, and I'm open to criticism in all aspects. Anywhere you feel I'm wrong or whatever, objectively and factually, and let's forge ahead, okay? So firstly, to start with the incumbent, which is President Bola Tinubu, what is my take? Am I actually of the opinion that the present administration has performed optimally to the desired expectation of a common Nigerian? My basic answer in that regard is absolutely no. He has not performed optimally. But is he the worst? Sincerely speaking, he is not the worst, right? He hasn't performed optimally according to our desire. And in regards, our desire now is the fact that we want to have a society that have a total and absolute respect for the rule of law, due process. In this regards, the present administration have not lived up to those expectations. And secondly, a typical Nigerian, despite the fact that a typical Nigerian is somehow criminal in nature as well, but they desire a leader that will take them to that desired destination, which is like the envy, the kind of a developed society. But lest we forget to tell ourselves the truth that a desired nation is not being piloted by only a leader, but the citizens as well. And in regards the quality of citizens we have in Nigeria, sincerely speaking, your guess is as good as mine. There is so much work to be done. But is it a deliberate thing? It's not a deliberate thing. It's equally the creation of the politicians that have succeeded in making individuals turning out to be what they are at the moment. Because there's this conversation in regards your leadership start from the bottom to the top or from the top to the bottom. That is an endless conversation that can never be won. But as long as I'm concerned, as far as I'm concerned, it's a two-way thing. It have to be from both angles, right? So in that regards, he hasn't performed optimally in regards the desires of a Nigeria, a typical Nigerian. But is he the worst? He is absolutely not the worst, right? But the question now is, does he deserve a second tenure? Well, that is a hard question I have to answer. But I'm going to answer it in this way. In the spirit of past leaders and their antecedents, yes, he deserves a second tenure. But in the spirit of where Nigerians hope to see themselves. A reasonable Nigerian, he doesn't deserve a second tenure in any way, because those daring moves that is expected of a leader is deficient in his regime. He has not made any daring move. All the moves are all about politicking, economic policies or whatever. Economic policies are endless discussions that nobody can ever win. Somebody say he came and invested 10 naira and he got 15 naira. One person say he came and invested 10 naira and he got 16 naira. That is exactly what we're discussing. So in regards that, sincerely speaking, but the last time I checked, that is not what, despite the fact that a typical Nigerian is corrupt in nature, selfish in nature, but that is not the desire. But another thing that would have addressed this is when you have a selfless leader that will show people the way, that this is the way to go. So in that regard, it's deficient. Let's talk about Atiku. Are we going to talk about Atiku? Well, Atiku, Obasanjo has already painted his result to us. Right? Whether it's true or not. But the fact is that his Oga has already painted him. And in regards him making daring moves and bold steps as well, that is deficient. Right? I don't want to waste time talking much about Atiku, because everybody knows that to some certain extent. Even a typical Nigerian knows that that is not the way to go. But let's talk about Peter Obi. What is the situation with Peter Obi? Well, sincerely speaking, if we must tell ourselves, going by antecedents of Peter Obi in Anambra, he performed better. Just like other people that we tend to consider as performing better in making reference to their past people, their, what do they call this English? People they inherited governance from. So he actually performed better. But has there been any daring move or any daring statement? There hasn't been any in regards him, right? And that is why on my own part, he's not bankable. But on the spirit of the fact that Igbos have been marginalized, take it or leave it, whether you argue it or not, the fact is Igbos have been marginalized in Nigeria and they deserve a try. So in the spirit of that, he deserves an opportunity, right? So he deserves that. That is on that part. So now let's come to my mentor, my Oga, Omoyele Sowore. Omoyele Sowore, sincerely speaking, we're not going by antecedents. There's nothing to tell in regards political antecedents. But in regards humanity antecedents and advocate for good system or democracy, we can absolutely give it to him. That this is a man that has fought for the liberation and even for the justice of a common man, right? But politicking is a different game entirely. And if my Oga is hearing me, I will tell him this. Sincerely speaking, there's a classical difference between being an activist, an advocate of social change, and a politician. And the difference is classically simple, which is the fact that on the basis of humanity and an activist, 100%, as far as Nigeria is concerned. But in regards politics, there is deficiency. Though the fact is, what I find as a problem is, we have had this discussion. You can't marry the two together. You can't marry activism with politicking. And that is where the problem lies. But you know what? Sincerely speaking, I equally believe that Omoyele Sowore deserves a try. Because going by his advocate for humanity, we can actually say that This is somebody that have humanity at heart.